It is a tough process to choose a golf ball, and that's what I'm going to attempt to do here today with you. I'm going to take you through my process. We're going to put a number of balls through a battery of tests to determine what is the best golf ball for me. Now let me give you a little bit of backstory. A lot of you have noticed I've been playing and testing a lot of balls here on Let's Play Thru and all the different reviews. We've had a ton of comments. There are some balls that I really enjoyed, but there's one brand that stood out to me, and it was one that I completely did not expect. That was Volvic. The good thing about Volvic is they don't make golf clubs, they don't make golf technology, which allows Let's Play Thru to stay honest, unbiased, and independent. That's what I strive to do, and hopefully I've gained your trust here on the channel doing that. And I was lucky enough that when I reached out to Volvic, they said yes, thought I'd be a good fit for them. And now in 2025 and into 2026, we have a partnership here with Volvic on Let's Play Thru. They'll be the official ball of the channel. That's the amazing news, but the less amazing thing about it is the fact that Volvic just makes so many good ball models. Again, I was shocked to find out just how many different types of balls they make and just how many I really enjoyed. And so as I mentioned up front on today's video, we're gonna try to determine what is the ball that goes in my bag, what's the ball I'll be using to test all the golf clubs and technology here on Let's Play Thru. First, we're gonna unbox these, and then we're gonna take them out on course and really get deep down and dirty. Let's do it. So here are the 5 balls that I am considering right now. We've got the Axia, VTU3, VTU4, the Condor, and the Condor X. Starting here with the VTU3, this is a 3-piece ball. If we look at the specs, it has mid to high flight. The shot feel is extremely soft. The long game spin is mid to low, and the short game spin is excellent. You can see the construction of the ball there. If we take a look at this one, as you can see, nice, clean looking ball. You've got the VTU3 there written with a red dash along the side. I like that one. Now the VTU4 looks very similar there to the VTU3, but now we're looking at a 4-piece ball. As you can see, the flight is high, the shot feel is very soft, long game spin is mid to low, short game spin is excellent. And this VTU4 looks very similar to the 3, except you've now got that blue there in the alignment line. The next ball here's a little bit more of a wild card. This is the Axia Hologram. This is also a 3-piece ball. And checking the specs, you can see the 3-piece construction there. They say the feel is medium soft, ball flight is straight, driver spin is low, and wedge spin is optimal. I like that. They do make a couple of different versions of this Axia. Again, this is the hologram model. And that is a unique looking golf ball with that line that runs the entire equator of the ball. You've got the number of the ball on one side, you've got the logo on the other side. It's got this little glimmer across the equator of the ball as well, which I suppose is the hologram in this Axia hologram. Definitely an interesting look to a ball. I think this would make a great looking putting ball. The color of this one also is a little bit of a brighter white than the others. By the way, this Axia is going to be a little bit different cover. This is not going to be urethane. They call it an elastic A1 cover. We'll see how that looks in comparison to the Condors, which we're going to see next. Next ball here is the Condor. This is the 3-piece Condor. This is their Tour Performance ball. You can see they advertise precise spin and soft feel. That's right up my alley. Taking a look at the specs here on the box, the Condor has a mid-flight, a softer feel, low long game spin, and excellent short game spin. There's your look at the Condor. Super clean here in terms of the alignment line. I like the font usage, very classy looking golf ball. Lastly, here's our Condor X. This is going to be the 4-piece tour level ball. And you can see here in the comparison chart that the flight is a little bit higher because they call it mid-high instead of mid with the Condor. They say the Condor X is soft, but looks like it's not quite as soft as the Condor. It's got lower long game spin, and it's got excellent short game spin. As you can see here, same classy look, although the Condor X has the red there for the ball number, and it's got the X there in the alignment line. But on all, paint looks very similar. It's got a bit of a grip to that urethane cover, just like the Condor as well. So at Let's Play Thru, we've developed a criteria for testing golf balls, and we've divided it into 3 phases. The first phase will focus on the short game. That is so important, and you're gonna take more shots chipping and putting around the greens than anything else, so we're gonna start there. In phase 2, we'll be narrowing it down from 5 balls to 3 balls, and we'll be testing longer shots like iron shots and drives. And in phase 3, we'll narrow it down to 2 balls, and we will be going head to head with these balls in a scramble format. So we're gonna start here in phase 1. There are 4 criteria in phase 1. Wedge feel, which is gonna be the sound and softness of contact on chips and pitches. We're also gonna look at distance control, which is the ability to hit the intended yardage and manage your rollout. We're gonna be looking at spin, which is the ability to check up and stop quickly on the green, and putter feel, which is sound and feedback off of the putter face. Now, by the way, the scorecard I'm gonna be using, I'm actually gonna link to you down below. It's a free download. Just hit the link and you'll have this for yourself. So if you ever wanna be testing balls, whatever the brand is, honestly, you can use this sheet to figure out what's the best ball for you. Let's get to work. All right, so first ball here is gonna be the Axia. This is an interesting ball, this hologram ball. I do like the alignment line on it, but we're chipping here, just short chips off the front of the green, off the fringe. See what kind of reaction we get. Got a little extra roll out there. It looks like it is kind of a dewy morning, so we won't get a ton of check, but I would like to see a little more take up probably. Feel off the club decent though. That one I hit a little toe side. It's probably gonna be our best one. It was my worst shot, but I'd say I would rank that about a 6. Let's move on here to the VTU 3. That felt like it grabbed a little bit, which I like to see. It grabbed off the club, it felt like, and it grabbed when it kind of hit the ground. Yeah, there's just a little bit more stop there. Yeah, there's a secondary check we were not getting with the Axia. So I would say that's at least maybe an 8 for the VTU 3 in terms of feel and check. All right, this is the VTU 4. A little firmer feel off of this one. Definitely had some nice grab there, which you'd expect, I guess, from this line. Again, decent secondary check. It's got some, yeah, oof, that was nice. That's definitely an 8. We're gonna call the VTU 4 an 8. So we got a 6 and 2 8s so far. Now I'm moving on to the Condor. The Condor is, by compression and at least stats on paper, likely the ball that might best suit me, but that's why we test these things. Again, good club feel, nice secondary check. Fantastic result, the best of the bunch. Now, is it because I've been hitting all these shots, I'm getting better, I know the line? Maybe. But again, nice secondary check. I do like the grab off the face there. That was not a great strike. Let's see the result though. Still, it's, even though I didn't put a ton of spin on it, it still gave me a little secondary check. I've definitely got that. I'm feeling like a 9 is the score there for me. I really like what I felt. We've got the 4-piece Condor X here next, which in this department around the greens, it's supposedly excellent. We'll find out. Oh yeah, I like that a lot. Interestingly enough, I feel like I'm hitting the same shot. Some of these balls going higher. The Axia in particular went much higher off the club face. Wow, well, I think we're gonna have to call it at least a strong 9.5 there on the Condor X. I'd say absolutely, as I worked my way up the line here, it got better and better. But that's not the last test I want to do here with these balls. Let's move on to the next one. All right, test 2 here. I'm gonna hit more of like a flop shot in some thicker rough here off the green. And we're gonna work backwards now just to keep everything fair. We're trying to see a real feel. You gotta be as fair to yourself as possible, I think. And that means playing different balls first and different balls last. So I'm gonna go with the Condor X here first. Again, more of a flop shot. It's all about distance control and spin here. Oh my goodness, that's good. Man, if I could bottle that shot, I would. Another good one there. Gotta have nice soft hands for this shot. Okay, well, in terms of like distance control now between those shots and spin, I would say, again, another 9s again there. All right, we're gonna go to the Condor. This is the regular Condor, the red version. Ooh, that seemed to go higher in the air, didn't it? Stopped nicely though. A little short there, just need to hit it a little harder. And a little shorter there as well. That first one was really good. I'm gonna call that an 8 again. All right, this is the VTU4. It's got a firmer feel for sure off the face, to me. Does stop real nice there, it looks like. Give it a little bit more. Yeah, that had some real nice check on it. All right, I'm gonna call that another 8. VTU3 next. Ooh, that looked great. Boy, these VTU balls are surprising me how good they feel and perform. At least on these short shots. That one that was a bad strike, but a little extra there. And some nice check. Again, I'd say, boy, I'm gonna go 9.5. Now the Axia. Again, real high ball. It definitely has a much firmer feel. That stopped better than it did on the short chips, but I'm not sure I'm loving that feel there. Compared to the other ones, at least. I'm gonna have to hit it a little harder too. It definitely, interestingly, chips a lot higher. That had a good check there, though. So I would say performance-wise, that Axia definitely looked good in terms of stopping power, check, that sort of thing. And distance control there, I also had a little bit of a harder time controlling it. So I'm gonna go 6 again. Now, one thing I've got to let you know about with Volvic here is that they're actually giving the Let's Play Thru community a pretty nice discount. If you buy 2 packs, you'll save 15%. If you buy 3 packs, at their website, you'll save 20%. I've got some discount codes down below. So if you're searching for a new ball, Volvic would be definitely one I would suggest you give a shot. All right, so next test here is going to be the bunker test. I brought my towel here because it's very important to make sure the grooves are looking good, which we're gonna have to do some work here on this wedge after that last shot, as well as the balls. So we wanna give these a fair test. It's early, it's dewy here in the morning. There's a lot of debris, as you can see. So I'm gonna clean everything off very well here, and we're gonna go to hitting some sand shots. On this test, I'm gonna go VTU4 first. I'm trying to hit different balls so that everyone gets a fair shot here. Man, great result. That one I just decelled a little bit. Was not a great strike. Let's give it one more. That one I just got right under it. Okay, well, at least that first shot told me something. I'm gonna give it a 9.5. We're going VTU3 here next. Definitely coming out lower. Need to hit this harder. There we go. All right, that definitely had more check to it. VTU3, I'm gonna call 9. Next is the Condor X. Condor X I've liked so far. Let's see if it continues to perform well here. Yeah, it really explodes out of the sand. It has some nice check there. That is excellent. Really comes to a nice stop. That was a tougher lie I was in, but still got out of there pretty good. Boy, I really like the way that felt and performed. I'm gonna call that a 9. All right, this is the Condor, the regular Condor. I think my aim was off, but boy, did that just come to a complete dead stop. I like to see that. Didn't have the aim there right, but man, that was good. Again, really wants to just come to a complete stop on the green. That one rolled down a little bit more, but spin 9.5. Last one's gonna be the Axia this time. It definitely has a different feel coming out of the sand. The check was pretty good. I don't think I've ever really done a test like this. And I've never really felt sand feel like I'm feeling right now. So I highly recommend you do something like this at some point in your life, because I absolutely felt the difference there. That one just slid right under. So it doesn't really want to explode off. Interesting. Now, as you're doing this testing, just like I'm doing this testing here today, you're gonna hit good shots, you're gonna hit bad shots. So you have to really separate yourself from the good shots. Make sure to just concentrate on the criteria that you're using. Again, I'm using distance, feel, spin, those types of factors. That way, one good shot doesn't skew your results, because it's very easy for that to happen. All right, we're going to the putting test here. I'm gonna set up basically a long putt test, just to give it a feel on the long putts, and then we'll see if we can make the 2-footers and see how they align and all that good stuff. So this one, I'm gonna go back to our original order. So we're starting with the Axia. That hologram is interesting. It definitely, absolutely provides a nice visual sight line for you between the black line and then the hologram itself. See how it feels coming off the putter face here on a long putt. This is also the guinea pig. So again, this is where you have to divorce yourself from results necessarily and just concentrate on what I'm looking for here, which is putter feel. Well, just like with the wedges, it feels very stiff. I think it was on a good line there, which is nice. It actually works perfectly with my putter alignment. It's about the same exact thickness as the line on my putter, so I like that, but yeah, it's very firm. Obviously, I came up short twice in a row. Let's see putt 3. I just have to hit it a little harder than I think. Pretty pleasant sound, honestly. All right, so we've got some room here. And again, if I make it, I make it, which would be awesome, but mostly I just want to see how I feel putting with them. Do I feel confident? Does it feel good coming off the putter face? It felt a little deadened on the long putts, and it feels a little poppier here on the short putts, which was interesting. All right. All in all, the Axia for putting, definitely not my favorite again, just because it's a kind of a firmer, inconsistent feel. So tough one. I'm gonna go ahead and rank it a 6 again though. It's firmly in a 6 category for me. Now your game might be different, but that's how I'm feeling out here. All right, VTU 3. This is one of our better performers in the chipping, so we'll see how it does here with the long putts. Now in terms of an alignment line, you kind of have 3 lines with VTU 3 in the middle. It's red in the middle there with 2 black lines to the side of it. Nice shimmer off this morning sunlight. Let's see how it feels off the putter face. Ooh, much more compressed feel. It sounded even considerably better. I thought the Axia sounded good. That sounded great. Do need to hit it a little harder this time. These greens are not in the best shape, as you probably see that putt bumping. So again, I'm not super concerned with results here. I'm just concerned with the feel. That looks like a good one though. Yeah, a big step up here. Let's see if we can convert. After that first putt, I was able to dial that distance in really well. I actually like the alignment on the Axia better, but this alignment line will do. Okay, so looks like we're gonna be 3 for 3 here on short putts. Again, try to divorce myself as much as possible from the results, but what I will say is feels are great, and distance control, I feel like I could dial that in a lot better here with the VTU 3, so that's gonna be a strong 9 for me. All right, the VTU 4 has very similar look, except you're now swapping that red line for a blue line. The finish is a little bit duller though as well, I would say. Ooh, very spongy feel off that one. Nice sound. Definitely have to hit that harder. Don't think I got my line right there, but speed-wise, well, took off a little harder too there. Somewhere in between those 2 putts. Feels definitely firmer, and I guess for me it's a little harder to dial that distance in. I'd say it felt considerably better than the Axia, but maybe not as good as the VTU 3. Okay, and it is a definitely firmer feeling there, even on the short putt. Get this out of the way for the next one. Get there, come on. Oh, yes, all right. Either way, I'm gonna give this one a 7. It was not my favorite feel. The results in the end were okay. At least 2 out of 3 conversions made on the long putt, but feel-wise, it lacked a little bit, so we're going 7. All right, next one's up. Next one up is going to be the Condor. Now, we don't have quite as good of an alignment line on these because it's just the logo with a couple of arrows, but that's much closer to something like a Pro V1, for instance. It's a little cleaner look, a little more of a tour look. Let's see how it feels. Oh, more pop, great sound, really nice feel. Was not a wonderful putt, but I was expecting it to, after that last ball, to just not travel as far. And this one is not my best effort either, but the feel is good. When you're testing so many balls at once, it's hard to dial in a different distance when they're all a little different, but I did there on the third one, I got that right. So it took me a couple to figure that out. I like this one. I don't know if I like it as much as the VTU 3, but I like it. I do think I could get good distance control with this one once I dial it in. Woo, 2 out of 3 there on the long putts. I'm gonna go ahead and give this one though an 8. The last one up here is the Condor X. Condor X, very similar, other than you have an X there on the back of the ball, but a real clean alignment there. Woo! Took a bumpy ride. So that putt won't be as good as it probably should have been. The green kind of messed that one up. I wish I was putting on glass here today, but I'm not. So again, focusing on feel. Definitely a little firmer here with the Condor X than the Condor. And it definitely doesn't quite have the same pop. This ball's right in the way of the other one, so I'm gonna putt this one first. And I pulled that putt. It's just an awful stroke. It's firmer feeling, it's louder sounding. It's got more of a click to it rather than a nice soft thud. I didn't make any of them, but that was the guy putting there. But in terms of feel, I'm gonna go 7.5 here. A little firmer than I like, I would say, putting. And in terms of distance control, I don't think quite as good as the Condor, this Condor X. So after our first phase of testing, where we've got our 4 elements here, the wedge feel, distance control, spin, and putter feel, here's our total scores. The Hollow Axia, 24.5. That's our lowest scoring ball. The VTU 3 is actually our highest scoring ball at 35.5. The VTU 4 was 32.5. The Condor was 34.5. And the Condor X in second place here at 35. The only real chink in the armor there was that putter feel for the Condor X. So what we're gonna do now is narrow this down to 3 balls. The VTU 3, the Condor, and the Condor X. And we're gonna go to phase 2 here of our criteria. In phase 2, we'll be hitting drivers, we'll be hitting some 150-yard shots, and we're also gonna be hitting some lower, more penetrating wedge shots with a 50-degree from about 100 yards. Here we go. We'll see who comes out on top. We're gonna narrow it from here down to 2, and then we're gonna have some fun in phase 3. All right, I'm in the fairway here about 100 yards out, 50-degree wedges in hand. We're gonna hit these low-flighted checking shots, hopefully. We'll see how they check. And if we can really control trajectory, that is critical here, control. This is the VTU 3 first. Nice low ball flight. It's on a good line. Ooh, from here it looked good. You guys actually see it better than I do, but it seemed to just kind of hop and stop there from what I could tell. I don't know if it actually backed up or not, but looked good. Shot 2. Thinned it. Let's see what happens. Yeah, thin shots often have a lot of spin on them, so that seemed to actually kind of come back a little bit. At least that's what it looked like. Again, I like that I kept it low though. Much better strike there on a good line. Oh boy. Man, that looks great, doesn't it? Sean tells me they're 3 to 4 feet. Boy, I'm gonna clean the grooves here, but whew, I really liked what I saw there. All right, now we're going to the Condor X. Chunky. Wow, I chunked it and still got good distance. It definitely hit and stopped. If that's my worst, I don't mind that. A little better contact there. It's definitely a firmer feel though. That had some nice check on it. Seems to be just slightly higher trajectory from what I can tell. Seemed like the VTU 3 was coming in a little bit lower. Good strike there. Pulled it a little, but yeah. Woo! I like that one as well. I'd say I like the feel coming off the wedge a little better with the VTU 3, and maybe I do like it coming a little lower, but both, I mean, you can't knock either of them really. All right, here we go with the regular Condor now. A little fat. A lot of spin though. Still, again, good distance too. Dial that better swing in now. A little higher trajectory there. Good check. I'd say of the 3 balls, this is the softest feeling of the 3 from what I can tell. It's my best strike. That's looking like just slightly left of the pin. Let's see what happens. All right, now that definitely came to a nice stop. I get a lot of comments on the channel of, you know, why are you out of breath? What's going on? They think I'm just playing golf out here. There's a lot more to do that's going on. Sean and I behind the scenes are racing around, trying to avoid the group that's behind us, trying to keep pace with the group that's in front of us, but not too quick. So there's a reason I'm out of breath a lot of times, but now you know. So I think feel-wise, performance-wise, absolutely, I'm going to call this a 10. This is our first 10 here with the VTU 3s. I love that they came in nice and low. Obviously it was the best results, but again, I'm trying to divorce myself from the results because some of the strikes with the others were not the best. Did have one poor strike with this VTU 3 as well, though, a thin one that ripped up pretty good too. So when it comes to the Condor X, that's probably the one I personally liked the feel of the least. The trajectory seemed to be a little bit higher than the other 2, and on top of that, just didn't quite get the same amount of spin either as that first one. Still a good ball, still a good performer, just wasn't quite as good as that VTU 3. And then our third ball there, the Condor, regular Condor, the red Condor, again, I liked that trajectory control. I felt like I could control it a little bit better there. Had a nice crispy feel off the face and had some good check as well. I'm not gonna rank feel just yet, although the VTU 3 definitely felt the best there. We're also gonna talk about distance here when it gets to the driver. What we can talk about here is stopping power control, and with control I'm also talking about trajectory control there. So for stopping power, I would say absolutely the VTU 3 looked the best to me. I'm going to give it 10s across the board for trajectory control and stopping power. The Condor, that is going to get 9.5 for stopping power and an 8.5 for control of trajectory. With the Condor X, I'm going to give it an 8.5 for stopping power and an 8 for control. On the next test here, I've got a 155 shot to a pretty centrally located pin. And what I'm going to be testing here is accuracy and feel for sure coming off the irons. Let's see what we do. All right, starting with the Condor X here first. Again, balls are wiped off. Grooves are clean here on this club. Let's see what we do. Nice feel off the club face. A little gentle draw there. Let's see in terms of distance how we do. Looks a little bit past the pin, which is great. Really, if I'm hitting this club well, it's more of like a 160 carry club. That was my first iron shot of the day, so we're just taking nice smooth swings out here anyways. Oh, that's right on line. It looks like drawn in there. Seemed to stop real good as well. I will take that third shot here. It's a louder sounding ball, but a nice feeling ball, I'll say. And did have good stopping power there again. All right, we're gonna move on now to the Condor. This is the regular Condor. I pulled that shot a little bit like I did the first one, but we'll see where it finishes. Finished just slightly shorter than the Condor X. Now, I didn't measure the swing speed, but I think that was fairly close in terms of a swing. We will break out the GC quad here for the driver for sure. That one's rolling out quite a bit more. It's still rolling, actually. That might be a little longer, in fact. Reacted interestingly there on the green. Hopefully you saw that on camera. Feel-wise, I mean, about the same as the Condor X, I'd say. And that one also is rolling out quite a bit more. And that one's definitely longer. So that's interesting. Maybe I'm getting a little more warm here. I'd say I like the sound a little bit better there with the Condor, but I'd say the feel, I actually preferred the Condor X. To be honest, it's pretty hard to separate those two, other than the Condor X seemed to have a little better stopping power. Here's the VTU 3 now. Oh, completely thinned that shot. That's my worst iron shot of them all. It actually landed, well, it landed short and bounced up there. It's on the green, but that was not a good strike. So we're gonna need some better ones here in order to really judge this. There we go. Ooh, that came up the shortest. That's in the bunker, actually. I thought I nailed that shot, to be quite honest with you. Shot 3 here. I have to give it a little bit more. Definitely took a little more of a swing there. It's on a good line. Great checkup. I want to hit one more with this ball because, again, I want to get 3 good shots with each. If I don't give it my all, I'm only cheating myself here. Pulled it, but felt good. So definitely my worst swings there with the VTU3, but we still hit the greens. We'll have an idea of the stopping power. Let's go up there and take a look. All right, so feel-wise off the irons, I liked it the way I hit it, meaning I liked the Condor X best there, surprisingly. I liked the Condor second best, and I actually liked the VTU third best. It was the firmest feeling to me, which doesn't make a lot of sense. I would think the Condor X would be the firmest, but it was also a little louder sounding as well. Just to give you an idea where these ended up, and myself, this is the Condor X. That's tight. That was a really good shot. These rolled out considerably more. In fact, I think this is the one I actually landed short of the green. It rolled all the way up here with the VTU3. What's back here? That's a Condor way back here. So far, at least in terms of accuracy and control, the Condor X is winning for me. That's a Condor here, Condor X here. Here we've got another Condor. That's a Condor X. This is a VTU3, which was my best shot with the VTU3. I would say like distance control there seemed to be better with the Condor X and Condor for sure. The VTU3 a little bit more, but also the swings were a little wild. Here's our last VTU3, that last shot I hit, and here's where it landed. So it seems like we're getting a little more rollout from the VTU3 as well. I'd say the Condor X checked up the best. And here's that other VTU3. This one shocked me, to be quite honest with you, that it came up so short. It landed like in here and rolled back. You can see the trail, but I really thought that was one of my better strikes. And it came up a little shorter. So definitely distance control was a lot more suspect all of a sudden here with this VTU3. It looks so good in that short wedge test. So that's why we got to keep doing this battery of tests. Our next test is going to be another iron test. We're going to pull out a 5-iron, a little longer iron in the bag. I'm going to hit them off a tee box. All right, so we're going to start off here with the VTU3. Again, 5-iron in hand. I'll be teeing these ones up. And I've got all the technology with us here today. We're going to get the GC Quad to give us launch data. And I've got my Garmin G80 here in order to tell us how far these fly. Oh, wow. Nice peak height there. That carried a good long way. Ball speed of 126, carry of 196, the spin 3294. Felt great leaving the club face. Oh boy, that feels great. On a real nice line. Drawn on the right-hand side of that fairway. I like that. Ball speed there, 125, the carry 193, the spin 3289. 2 real good ones there. All right, we're gonna switch now to the Condor. Just skirted past that tree. It's drawn in there nicely. Looks right around where that first VTU3 landed. That'll be interesting. Now, the ball speed was a little down there, 124, carried 194, and our total spin 2999, so spins down a little bit there with the Condor. And fairly good strike there, right down the middle. Ball speed was down just a little bit, but that strike was just ever so slightly not as good. 121, carry was 187, spin was down though again, 2600. I want to hit one more again, just to make sure I'm hitting good shots with every ball. So this is the Condor again. Oh, much better strike there. Tighter draw, right side of that fairway. Maybe over in the rough, might have bounced into the rough a little bit, but a better strike. Ball speed 123, carried 191, spin 3184. All right, we're moving now to the Condor X. I'm pretty pleasantly surprised, by the way, with my 5-iron swings, because I've been struggling with the 5 and 4 irons a lot lately. Definitely a firmer feel there. Trajectory not quite as high as the VTU3. 123 was the ball speed, 189 carry, 2950 spin. It's definitely the firmest feeling off the club. Another one that's flirting with disaster there, but actually give us a good idea of those 2 balls. That one was a little wider, didn't quite turn as much. Ball speed was 124, the carry was 194, the spin was 3124. So probably what you can see here is that these 3 balls are very close. What I could tell off the club face is that you're getting higher trajectory there off the VTU3. We're getting a little higher spin there as well. That could be real good for me because I don't put a lot of spin on the ball to begin with. And also I'm not a big hitter, so I need a little more spin to maybe spin it up in the air a little bit, and we definitely saw that with that trajectory. Hopefully you can see the shot traces there to tell us that same story. I would say the Condor X was the lowest and firmest feeling. The Condor was kind of right in between the two, to be honest. So let's go ahead and measure these shots. I'll be very interested to see where they finished. All right, so just surveying the land here, we've got two real centralized, and my miss here today was just a little bit right at target. So we got some over there in the rough, but just to give us an idea of distances, 196, this is the Condor. Condor X also at 196, so very similar. Very, very similar. And this would be great if this was a VTU3 because it's in the fairway. It is. Also at 196. Oh, it just went down to 195 on me. That's funny. This is a Condor at 198. Now, of course, we hit into the rough here and it kind of took some off. All of these got a little bit of distance taken off in the rough. We're right at 200 here with the VTU3, actually 201, it just ticked up. 202, and this one is gonna be a Condor X. And the long ball here is a Condor at 211. All right, so in terms of accuracy, we had one ball each in the fairway, one ball each in the rough, so really similar there. It's hard to really, I gotta almost call that a toss-up. In terms of distance there, obviously the Condor was the longest ball. I'd say the Condor X there was probably the second longest, at least for me, being a little bit lower spinning. And that VTU3, which spun the most, actually was the shortest of the three balls. It also had the highest peak height, though, and we're only talking a couple of yards. So it's hard to narrow this down, but if we can amalgamate what we saw with the 8-iron and then what we did here with the 5-iron, I think we can put some scores to this. Let's talk accuracy here first. The VTU3 did not do so well on the 8-iron test. It did a little better though, for sure, on the 4-iron test. I felt like the trajectory was a little bit more consistent there on those shots. All in all, I think a 9 would be a fair score here. In terms of distance, we're gonna come back to this, but we gotta remember that distance control here, it definitely struggled on that 150-yard shot where we had some long, some short, all right? Now in terms of feel, gosh, I love the feel of this ball. It's at least a 9.5 in terms of feel for me. I think it's the best feeling of the balls here. In terms of accuracy with the Condor, again, we may adjust this with the driver potentially here, but for now at least, I'm gonna also give this a 9, okay? And feel, I'm gonna give this one a 9. When it comes to accuracy with the Condor X, I was very accurate with this ball for whatever reason. And the feel, not bad, but I did like it the least. So we're gonna go 8.5 here. So it's really gonna probably come down to the distance category here. And we're gonna pull out driver next in order to figure that out. All right, so it is time for the big stick. And this is gonna be pretty definitive here because all these balls are really close. And a lot of times it is. With the driver, you gotta feel confident with the ball. I'm gonna start here with the Condor, which I don't think we've started with that one just yet. So let's give that a shot. Now my driver also, I will say, is the club I am struggling with. I'm looking for a straight flying ball here, but I gotta look for nice peak height, feel off the club face, and obviously stats are gonna matter. So this is a big one. We'll push that one off the right to start with here, but let's take a look at the stats. Club head speed 99.6, ball speed 142. It carried 246, the spin was 2250, the smash was 142. So not a great result. Direction-wise, but really felt great coming off the club, I'll say that. Here's a better one. That has a very interesting ball flight. I don't know if you'll ever see that on the shot trace. Seemed like it was like knuckling or something up there. It was kind of moving with the wind. It was very, very weird. Club head speed was 98, ball speed was 139, the carry was 235, the smash was 142, the spin 2249. I'm liking that spin number. That's exactly where I liked to be. I've worked with some fitters in the past, and that's kind of my optimum there, right around 2200 RPM. So that's great. Shot 3. That's my best one. Now that is not doing any of that wiggling at all. That's perfect looking trajectory. I like the height. I like the shot shape. Everything about that looked real good in the air. Swing speed 99, ball speed 142, carried 245, total spin 2149. We're moving now to the Condor X. So love the feel off the driver, we'll say that. We'll see how we like it with the X. This one felt a little firmer off the irons, but let's see here. That one is fading on me. So not my best one, just like it wasn't my best one with the first shot with the Condor, but let's look at the stats here. Club head speed was way down there, 96.4. Ball speed 135, the carry 217, but again, because of the type of shot, and the spin is actually real high there, 30.99. So it might have just been that swing. We may have to hit another one because that was such a poor strike, but let's hit shot 2 here. Definitely very firm feeling off the driver. It's the firmest by far. That one might have caught the left side of that fairway, potentially. My swing speed again was down there though, 97.3, ball speed 134, the carry 226, the spin right at 2000. I don't think that was my best swing either. So again, we got to take all this into account here as we go. Absolutely, very firm feeling. That's high, drifting left, didn't love it. Club head speed was up there, 99.6, ball speed 142, the estimated carry 224, the spin way down there at 1449. That's way too low for me. Now again, try to keep things apples to apples as much as I can. I'm on a golf course with limited time, but we got to hit at least one more here with the Condor X. Feel-wise, not my favorite, but we got to see if we can get a good swing on it for the results. Oh man, pulled it left, but it was better contact. It's gonna be left side of the fairway there. I'm definitely struggling to control this one a little more, but it's also the swings are not as good. So 99.2 is the club head speed, that was back up. Ball speed 137 though. Carried 233, the smash was 138. All right, moving on to the VTU 3. Feel better. The best feeling one, I think, though, is going to be the Condor. That was left of target. Wow, the club speed was way down there again. I guess maybe just getting a little tired, but 94, ball speed 133, smash 142, that's back up there. Carry 220, the spin 1549, that was kind of low. Well, real low. All right, shot 2 here with the VTU 3. Getting tired. Club head speed 98, ball speed 139, carried 223, the smash 142, the spin down again 1794. I want to see that number up a little bit. Wasn't my best swing again, but that's too low. Better swing there. Real high, super high. So definitely the highest launching ball without a doubt. Club head speed 96.8, ball speed 135, carried 227, smash 140, spin better there 2389. I'm going to hit one more because again, the first shot I took was not ideal, and I want to make sure I'm getting good swings in with these because we're about to narrow it down to 2. There's a good swing there. Again, definitely the highest launching by a long shot. Club head speed was down. We need to take that into account here. 96.8, ball speed 140, smash 144, carried 244. That's a good number. Spin 2100. What I can discern so far, driver feel, I would say I would go Condor, VTU, Condor X. When it comes to spin numbers, the Condor also looked the best there. Definitely the highest trajectory with the VTU 3. Condor X, lowest trajectory, lowest spin, and firmest feel. Let's go ahead and check the distances though, because that's going to tell us a big major story. After so many swings, I got tired there and things started going left on me. 223, that is a Condor. 229, that's a Condor X. 229, that's a Condor. We got no roll out here, so that's going to take a lot of distance off. 227, that's a VTU 3. That was 240 Condor X. So probably our best Condor X, I think, because a lot of those were heading left. We got one in the fairway back here, 222, that's a VTU 3. So those high shots, just not getting maximum carry. We got one on the right here in the rough, 218. That's another VTU 3. Now we're getting into some better swings here. 242. That's a Condor X. There's a Condor at 245. All right, now these are my best shots. This is a very narrow fairway we chose for this hole, so this is off the fairway, but that's a Condor at 243, a Condor at 249, and our best one there, a Condor at 258. Now, 100% the Condor swings were the best of the 3 balls I chose. I absolutely got tired there as time went on. But the other thing about the Condor is the spin numbers were much more consistent. The trajectory looked the best because it was right in between the two. Spin-wise, distance-wise, feel-wise, again, I'm gonna rank them Condor, VTU 3, and Condor X. Let's go ahead, get the final scores here for the distance, and then we're gonna narrow it down to 2 balls. So I've given these a score now for distance. The VTU was a 7. The reason so is because On the 150-yard shot, this one really was the most inconsistent. It was also, on the drive, it was the shortest, going so high with that spin, and also on that 5-iron test, it didn't quite go as far as the others. The Condor, I gave a 9.5. Now, it was the longest with the driver, but those were also my best swings with the highest swing speed. So 9.5 is that score, again, taking into account all 3 of our tests there. And then the Condor X, I'm giving a full 10. It squeaked down a lot of yards on some bad swings there with the driver. It was the longest there with the 8-iron and right up there with the 5-iron. So for me, that's getting a 10. Time to add these up. So the VTU3 had 9.5 for feel, 7 for distance, 9 for accuracy, 10 for stopping power, and 10 for control, for a total of 45.5. The Condor had a 9 for feel, a 9.5 for distance, a 9 for accuracy, a 9.5 for stopping power, and an 8.5 for control, for a total of 45.5. Wow. 8.5 for feel, 10 for distance, 9.5 for accuracy, 8.5 for stopping power, 8 for control, for a total of 44.5, which means the VTU3 and the Condor are moving on to our 3rd and final stage. That's gonna be the next video here on the channel, where I'll be playing a scramble out on course with these 2 balls to decide which one goes in my bag. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Make sure that you're subscribed so you don't miss it. And I'll catch you back on the next episode of Let's Play Thru. We're nearly there.